It's the weekend, and for those of you who come back to the channel on a reg, you know what that means. We are getting back into our Classic Traveler RPG series here on Classic Tabletop RPG Friday. And last week, we started to look at what the Phineas Javelin did to the Suleiman Type S Scout Courier, and it wasn't good. Got 4 hits on that ship, and we're gonna see what happens when your ship gets hit by either laser fire or missiles in Classic Traveler. And this normally happens in the moment, but I separated it because I wanted to keep everything kind of organized instead of just going back and forth. So we're gonna look at space combat damage in its entirety, the full landscape of it in Classic Traveler. Thanks for coming by, folks. If this is your first time coming to the channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Servant of Shiloh, the place, RPG Elite. What I do, I put the RP back in the RPG. What? And the way that I do that is by giving you tools, tips, tutorials, and real talk about the tabletop RPG space and culture. So we're gonna slide right into this right away. On the other side, like always, I have the question of David. Let's do this and roll 'em. All right, here we are back in space. And we got the Phineas Javelin over here, which has 4 hits on the Suleiman Type S Scout Courier. So we're going to roll on the hit locations table here. Let's take a quick look at this. Let's see what's up with this. So on here you have at the very top the type of ship that is being hit. So this is the target ship. So you have a starship, non-starship, and a small craft. Now in our situation we have starship on starship, so we're just going to be using column 1, even though there's a small note down here at the bottom for small craft that have no computer. If they have no computer and they hit computer, you're going to treat it as a drive. That's all that says, but we're going to ignore that because it's starship on starship. In order to determine where the hits go to, we're going to be looking at 2d6 right over here. So remember, the Phineas Javelin has 4 hits, 2 beam lasers, 1 pulse laser hit. So we're going to roll for each individual hit to see what happens. I'm just going to take 2d6 right there, and we're going to roll them. And we're coming out swinging. We just hit the jump drive. Now, whenever you hit any of the drives, what happens is that the letter goes down 1 step. So if you had jump drive D, it would go down to C. If you had a maneuver drive C, it would go down to B. That's how that goes. Except in this situation. Let's go back to the ship data card. This has A drives across the board. Now the power plant drive has to equal or be more than the jump drive and the M drive in order for those two to work. So another way that you could disable a ship is by just simply hitting the power plant and taking it down to where it doesn't have enough power to have the ship move or jump, which means they would be dead in the water, so to speak. In this situation though, whenever you take a drive down below A, that means it is destroyed. Any other situation, if the drive was high enough, it would still be able to function. But if it goes below A, which is the lowest, it goes bye-bye, it's destroyed, you're gonna need a new drive, and that's exactly what happens here. The Phineas Javelin destroys the jump drive on the Suleiman S-type out the gate, and that's bad. That hurts. It can't jump. So if the Phineas Javelin just wanted to, I don't know if it would be merciful or not, in the battle and just jump out of this, jump out of space and just leave them stranded right there. I mean, they could still do a maneuver drive type of deal, right? But the jump is absolutely destroyed. It can't be repaired. If it was like a C to a B drive, it could be repaired, but this is destroyed now. And we're not going to do that though, because we got 3 more hits and we're going to find out what happens with those 3 more hits. So let's roll them. We have a 10, and the 10 right here is a turret. So it has 2 turrets, one for the missiles and one for the lasers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll 1d6. We're going to say odd for lasers, even for missiles. Lasers are gone. Whenever a turret is hit, that means that it incapacitates that turret. It can be repaired, but you can't repair it during a battle because the turret is obviously outside of a ship. You need to be at a starport in order for it to be repaired and all the rest of that. Or you need to be at least not in a battle so you can go out and repair the turret. So the turret is incapacitated for its lasers. It cannot hit. It is no return fire is possible in the next part of the turn. It's just going from bad to worse for the Suleiman, and it's only been 2 hits. Let's go with the 3rd hit. This is the fuel that gets hit here. So what happens when the fuel tank gets hit, first thing is that it punctures it and takes 10 tons of fuel out of there immediately. If too much of the fuel leaves, then you can't jump because you need so much fuel to jump. But in this case, it really wouldn't matter because the jump drive is destroyed. This hit is not going to incapacitate it, but it is not doing it any good either. But it still has 1 more hit. Hit number 4 for the Phineas Javelin. What can happen? 11, a turret. And there's only one other turret that could be hit, but since this is random, we're going to do it again. Odd for lasers and even for the missiles. So let's see what happens, because I could hit the same turret twice. But I didn't. I hit the missile racks. So the missile rack, incapacitated. Turret, incapacitated. Jump drive, gone. And it's losing fuel. And that is just on the first half of the combat turn. We haven't even gone. We haven't even switched sides. Oh, this is looking really bad for the Suleiman. Really bad for the Suleiman. Hey, real quick, y'all. If you are enjoying this series or you want to just know more about Traveler, down in the description below, I have links to a free facsimile copy of Classic Traveler. You can go and download that right now. Also down there, if you just want to go and grab the game, you know that you like it and you're like, man, I want to dive into this. Been watching my videos, of course, and you know, you got the itch now, then you can go down in the description. There are many links to the many iterations of the game, whether it's Classic Traveler, New Era, Mega Traveler, GURPS Traveler, or Mongoose Traveler, or all the other ones that are in between there. You can go ahead down in the description, links for hardcover and PDF digital copies. I mean, whatever floats your boat. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, so I've only explained how some of these hits and what happens on some of these, but let's take a look at the others that we didn't get a chance to look at. One was the hull. Now there's a special situation that happens if you hit the hull. It will depressurize or decompress, and that's a special situation that we're going to cover in the next video. If the hull were to get hit, then one of 3 things would happen. 10 tons of cargo would get destroyed, or if there's a vehicle in there, that may get destroyed, or if there is a small craft in there, that may get destroyed. And you can just kind of roll randomly 1d6 and divide it by 2 and, you know, do whatever you want to do with that. But that's what would happen if the hold would have gotten hit. If the computer gets hit, then it's different. So the computer has a 1+ chance of operating all of the time, which means it's extremely reliable. But every time that the computer takes a hit in space combat, that is raised by a -1 DM. For example, let's say the computer took 2 hits. Now it's a 3+ for the computer to operate, and if you roll less than a 3, then it will malfunction. So anytime that the computer needs to run, which would be in the computer programming phase, that we saw in the last video, you would have to actually roll to see if the computer would malfunction. So the possibility goes up the more that the computer gets hit. It's pretty hard to disable a computer. It would have to get hit like multiple times, somewhere in like 12 times or something like that. And then it would permanently malfunction. It just would not work at all, which means none of your stuff would work. If it's all the way malfunctioning, your turrets wouldn't work. Everything would just shut down, really. It just, nothing would work right. You can try to fix the computer if you've got somebody on board that can fix the computer, and they can take that DM away, that negative DM away from that. So that's how the computer works. But the last one is the critical. That has its own table. Let's go to the critical hits table. Now here, again, you have a starship, non-starship, and small craft. But for this, you only have one die that you would roll. If one of these is rolled for a critical hit, then whatever is rolled just got annihilated. It's obliterated, it's gone. For example, if I rolled, and we'll just do this right now, I'll roll 1d6, and what gets 2. So the maneuver drive would just be obliterated, and it wouldn't matter if it was a D drive or an E drive or anything like that. It would just be gone. That's what critical hits do. Critical hits will destroy whatever gets hit at that point. Of course, as you saw on the hit location table, it's hard to get a critical hit. You need to roll a 12, and that's the only way that you're going to get a critical hit. Now, the thing with small craft, when we're talking about hits, I mean, anything that gets hit is like destroyed. It just is gone. It's a small craft. It doesn't hold up that well, except for the computer. The computer works just like if you would hit it on a starship, but everything else, it just gets destroyed. It's very, very fragile. So in this situation, drive gets hit, destroyed. Cabin, destroyed. Weapons, destroyed. Just don't be caught with a small craft in the middle of space combat, because it's just bad news all the way around. So one of the options that you have is to run a software program called Select. And if you have that software program running when you're in space combat, then if you roll 1d6 and you roll a 5 or a 6, you will get to choose what you hit on the target ship. Now that can come in handy and can make a combat rather quick if you want it to be. There's many options in this game. I love this game. Here's my copy. Look at it. It's all tore up from the floor up, and I love it. Yes, I do. I love my game. Hey, y'all, if you got any value out of this video at all, you learned something new, you were entertained or whatever, then go ahead and do a brother a solid and crush the like button. Also, if you want to stick around, if I haven't made you run for the hills or I haven't, said something that made you upset, because I don't know, stick around long enough, I probably will. But if you want to stay around for the time being, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and the notification bells. I come out with videos, God willing, on Tuesdays and Fridays. Let's get to the question of the vid. Question of the vid is this. So you need to focus on one of 3 things in your space combat. I mean, this is the thing that you want to make sure is solid as a rock, and you only can choose one. Which one would it be? Here are your options. Weapons, your maneuverability, or your computer's capability. You can only choose one.
There can be only one.
So which one will it be? Let's get some engagement going down in the comments below. Hey, that'll be it for me, y'all. So you know what that means. Brother gotta do his little snaggle puss.
So exit, stage left.
Hey, if you've got a game this weekend, happy gaming. I pray it is an RPG Elite session for me. Yep, y'all know what time it is. It is time once again to get into a little bit of One Ring. And this new chapter in this campaign that I got going right now, pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. All right, y'all, that's it. A brother has to say, Peace. 5,000 leets. Look that up if you don't know what that means. A brother has just got to be outie.